The following episode will contain spoilers. You have been warned.
You're listening to Cinema IRL, the podcast that throws you into the movie and asks the question, what would you do? Want to live rent-free and safe in a communist regime? Cool, let me give you AIDS first. Well, that certainly changes the math, especially in the 1990s. Would Amber and Scott do it? Find out after they watched Los Frikas. And now, Cinema IRL.
I wish I could switch places for just one day.
What would you do?
Put yourself in my shoes.
How do we handle this?
What would you do?
Put yourself in my position.
What would you do?
Now it's your turn.
AIDS. Am I right? No.
Alrighty, so this episode we are talking about Los Frikas, and I'm afraid I'm saying that wrong, and I looked at how to pronounce it.
Frikas? Frikas is what I've got, so.
Okay, so this film is inspired by true events, and it's the coming-of-age story set in the early 90s in Cuba, where a group of punk rockers in search of freedom deliberately inject HIV to live at a government-run treatment home. The rest of this description is ... so they could create their own utopia. That's kind of it, but it's also so they could eat because they were freaking hungry and had no alternatives.
Yeah, I mean, the truth of the matter is this movie has mostly one or two, what would you do, like major ones.
Yeah, we're looking at living in Cuba under Fidel Castro, and he had said that American music, rock music, was banned, and there was this group of youth, maybe 18, up to early 20s, and they were punk rockers, and they tried to access American music by, holding up TV antennas and all kinds of weird things to get the music from, I would assume, Florida, to be able to listen to. And they were having a really difficult time. And basically, to survive in Cuba at the time, you either had to beg, borrow, and steal. And if you did that, you got thrown in jail, or you stayed out of jail and you basically just starved. And as they were trying to just eat, not eating for days at a time, and one time even eating a cat, they were talking about how the AIDS epidemic, and when people were diagnosed with HIV, they were taken to government facilities where they were actually fed and they had a nice place to sleep. And
nice comparatively.
Yeah, when it first started out, obviously, when they got to the facility, they had square meals and they had ice cream and a much better quality of life than they did at home. But the film focuses on two brothers primarily, and one of them is the lead singer of this punk band, and he literally takes the blood of someone who has HIV, injects it into him, and tries to get his brother to do it. Long story short, his brother's freaked out by it, but after some time passes, he fakes his HIV positive result and gets into the same sanitarium that his brother is in.
So, no brainer, if I'm the brother and I can get into the sanitarium by faking it, yes, I'm faking it.
Heck yeah.
Now, the $64,000 question is, do you not fake it? Do you actually inject for real? I mean, I would think, obviously, exchange for getting HIV in exchange for food and shelter in 2025, no. But in 1990 Cuba, where you could get thrown in prison for damn near anything, or, randomly shot or starve or anything, we have different stakes.
Yeah, desperate times, desperate measures. When you are living day to day and not eating for days at a time and have no hope of anything changing, and your life is full of manual labor, working in the sugarcane fields and starving, you certainly are more apt to consider things that you might not if things were a little bit better.
And in fairness, when Paco injected, he said, okay, basically, I think there's going to be a cure within 10 years for this. So, might not be the greatest thing in the meanwhile, but there'll be a cure.
And they were
fine.
Yeah, they were calling it the flu. Like, basically, if the flu for 10 years and then you get cured.
Yeah.
It was not the flu.
I don't know if I'd want to even have the flu for 10 years. But yeah, I see what you're saying. I mean, it was a calculated risk. I
by no means recommend it. I'm just saying when you don't have a lot of options in life, you consider things you would normally never do.
Yeah, given their position, I actually think I'd probably do the same thing. I wouldn't like it. I'd fake it if I could, but I mean,
So if
90s Cuba, you're in that position that your long-term prospects aren't exactly great unless you do something to change your fates.
Yeah. Okay. So what would you do is you would do the same thing.
I think so. Yeah. I mean, I'm not loving it.
Yeah. No. Nobody loves this alternative. That's
No,
for sure.
I'm not. I'm not in love with this alternative. But if I'm literally can't get food, and I'm chasing down stray cats to try to eat, and not even just that, also have some individuality.
Yeah, because when they went to this facility, which really wasn't a facility, it was almost just a bunch of huts in a beautiful open area where they had complete and total freedom to basically, they could play music in the barn and they had friends and they could hang out. And it was run by a woman her brother had AIDS and had recently passed away, and she ran the facility. And it really was this small patch of Cuba where this group of young adults had some freedom that they hadn't really been able to experience in Havana.
Yeah, for sure. So now what do you do if you're Maria?
Yeah, Maria's the one who ran the place.
And then you find out that, what's his name?
Gustavo.
Gustavo is not HIV positive.
Yeah, after 4 months, she's wondering why medication has not been sent for him, and she does some digging and then realizes what transpired. But the moment of that is she ultimately starts sleeping with him.
Yeah, it's like, leave. No. Okay, I'll fuck you then.
Yeah, for sure. They wind up having an affair once he says, I'm not leaving, and I'm also have been really safe, and I'm still negative. So, yeah, they kind of get it on.
Yeah, all of a sudden she's like, I can touch that.
Sure. So, what would you do if you were in Maria's shoes and you find this out? She obviously said, you have to go. And Gustavo was like, no, not going to happen, because he knew there was nothing and no one for him once he left that. I can't even say
Sanitarium.
Sanitarium, yeah, which is a ridiculous word, because again, it was almost like a place that people pay to stay at in the Bahamas. There was nothing sanitarium or facility like it. But yeah, in that case of what do you do with your Maria, I certainly don't think I would have started sleeping with him.
Hell yeah, I would have. Are you kidding? She's surrounded by a bunch of gay dudes, and the ones who aren't gay have still injected themselves with the gay blood, if you will.
Well, I don't think either of those matter as much as the fact that they are her patients, and her patients are HIV positive. So that's not a safe situation. And
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, there's no one there for her to boink.
Yeah.
And you could tell she thought he was cute. He thought she was cute. Like, yeah, but AIDS, don't really want it.
Yeah.
And then, don't have it? Let's go.
Yeah, I don't think if I was in Maria's shoes, I necessarily would have done that. But that said, once he refused to go, I don't think I could have forced it, because also, too, the scary thing about Cuba is you get caught doing something even slightly wrong. They didn't have even the tiniest resistance to, I don't know, shooting you, killing you, imprisoning you. So there's a lot at stake for her to even take that kind of risk.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. Like, I didn't know. Oh yeah? Prove it. Well, I can't. Okay, bang bang.
Yeah. Yeah, not the good banging.
Yes, bang bang, you're dead.
Yeah. So what would I do if I was forced into a situation where I had to keep lying, which was the other element of Gustavo, because when the doctor forged the document for him, he said, don't tell anybody. And it was surprising to me that Gustavo really kept his word, and he didn't mention it to his brother. He didn't mention it to the friend that he had made at the sanitarium. He did not tell anybody until Maria found out, and he came clean with Maria.
But he didn't tell anyone. He got found out.
Yeah.
The only person he told was at the very, very, very end. He told Paco.
Yeah, he told his brother when his brother was obviously deteriorating significantly, had participated in an experimental trial of hypothermia, and it had actually accelerated
Hyperthermia.
and it had accelerated his symptoms and made him even worse.
Yeah, hypo, they'd be freezing your blood. Hyper, they boil it.
I thought they did freeze it.
No, they were getting it to like 170 or 180 degrees, something like that. They were basically they were trying to purify it like you would water, which, yeah.
So the idea of being able to tell a secret, or hold a secret rather, that is something that I was really impressed with Gustavo for doing, and he had a lot at stake for that, but people are big freaking blabbermouths and can't hold secrets. And that is something I actually pride myself on. If you tell me something and it's not supposed to be told, it is in the vault. I don't blab.
Trust me, boys and girls, this one's got a lot of secrets over here.
Remember that time
No, I don't, because you didn't tell me about it.
But yeah, if I was in Gustavo's shoes and I had been a part of forging documents to basically get free shelter and food from the government, I would absolutely keep my freaking mouth shut, even if it was family, even if it was my brother, even if it was my new best friend, even if it was anybody. I would absolutely keep my mouth shut, and I do know how to keep a secret, so if any of y'all ever tell me a secret, it's going to the grave with me.
I mostly know how to keep a secret. I don't really keep too many from you, but outside of that...
Yeah, too many. We'll have to talk after the show.
We hope you enjoyed our episode. Thank you for listening. And to catch all the new episodes, please subscribe. We release 2 to 3 episodes weekly, so we'll have new content regularly. Until next time. We hope you enjoyed our episode. Thank you for listening. And to catch all the new episodes, please subscribe. We release 2 to 3 episodes weekly, so we'll have new content regularly. Until next time.